Have you ever been the younger brother that was outshined by your older brother? That's how I feel like many people approach Subnautica Below Zero. They don't give it its proper due, and as a result, one day he might actually get mad and do something that he regrets. Hello, I am Axo, and I just completed Subnautica Below Zero. This video is broken down into the good, the bad, and the undecided. Let's start with the good. The good. The dialogue was fine. I haven't seen many reviews, but I can imagine many gamers probably hate the dialogue in this game. At times it seems forced, but honestly I didn't really mind.
Oh, you're all so gullible. You're fighting each other. Meanwhile, look at Pavan. Just look at him.
What am I doing? I'm not doing anything.
Let's just take this to a vote. All those who think Zeta's allergies are a bad case of alienitis, say intruder.
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 Intruder. Danny,
Oh, I'm just an observer here.
I'm going to use my pass.
is there some kind of scientist conspiracy going on here? Zeta, Sam, Danielle, you three are suddenly very aligned.
Or, like I said, Parvin is cheating.
I'm starting to wish I was cheating.
Some say it was cringy, but I scoff at that idea. Cringiness is just a frame of mind, it's just a perspective. The Leviathans were okay. Subnautica still has the most iconic Leviathans, but Below Zero doesn't hold back either. The Shadow Leviathan and Vent Gardens are awesome, especially since they are designed with their biomes in mind. The Shadow Leviathan, resembling a centipede, fits through the tight spaces of the crystal caves, which enhances the challenge when facing them. The other Leviathans, however, were less remarkable. Later on, I'll talk a bit more about the Vent Gardens. The quality of life improvements with the prawn suit were amazing. Going from Subnautica to Below Zero, interacting with the prawn suit is a night and day occurrence. You get in and out almost instantly. When I inevitably return to Subnautica, I suspect I'll miss these enhancements from Below Zero. The giant jellyfish tree, aka the Vent Gardens, were a true spectacle the first time I saw it. On top of that, discovering that you could enter them to gather resources just blew me away. Unknown Worlds Entertainment must have some insanely passionate biologists on their team because they consistently excel at creating intriguing characters and plant life. Alan was cool. I really enjoyed the lore dumps from him. I'm not even kidding. It was interesting to get more context about the Kara bacterium and to learn at the end that he was the reason it escaped in the first place. The sequence where you finally build his body and travel off of planet 4546b, presumably to his home planet, left me wanting so much more from this game. The Crystal Cave was a phenomenal biome. It's not only a beautiful biome, but the progression from purple to red crystals as you go deeper and deeper is great. The Shadow Leviathan really makes this biome terrifying to navigate. In my first playthrough, these creatures constantly chased me from 600 meters to 950. I always had at least one near me, heightening the tension compared to the endgame biome of Subnautica. I mean, most of the time the Sea Dragon Leviathan was off in his own fucking world and he didn't even know that he was even a part of the biome sometimes. And I think primarily that's just because the biome is so giant that if you're quick about it, you might totally miss the guy. And also, he tends to have this thing where he like glitches into the world and just kind of vanishes. I'm sure you've seen clips or you've seen moments where he just like eats someone through the world or bites someone like where he's not even on screen. Shit like that's just kind of silly. And I didn't really experience anything like that in Below Zero with the Shadow Leviathans. The sea monkeys were a creature that just kept on giving, man. Not only adorable, they also gifted you items, and their nests contained important blueprints. Being able to visually identify the blueprints in the sea monkey nests was just a godsend improvement for that kind of thing. Honestly, that was kind of a gripe I had with Subnautica. I love the game so much, it's probably one of my favorite games I've played in like the past 5 years. But bro, finding the blueprints, some of them were so tedious and annoying. And the fact that you had to like look in the little container, the dark container, you had to get out of your ship, go into the container, look in the dark ass thing, and then shine your light and see if your scanner prompt even comes up. With the sea monkey nest, you can visually see, okay, this is, for example, I was like missing parts for the high capacity O2 tank. So I was kind of traveling around looking, and I was looking through the sea monkey nests, and I eventually saw one with a bunch of, you know, high capacity O2 tanks around it. I'm like, fuck yeah, that's what I was looking for. I really hope that in Subnautica 2 or Subnautica 3, they add something like that, an easier visually identifying thing where you can find blueprints a lot easier and it's more like comprehensive. I love that. Margaret Maida was the second most memorable character, right next to Alan. If other crew members had survived and been given a body to their voices, perhaps there would have been more impact from them. But Margaret is just a stone cold badass, and the first time you enter her base especially, and you see the huge Reaper Leviathan head on her wall, dude, you know she's built different. She's literally built for this planet. I also have to mention that her custom prawn suit and how much I wish we as players could do what she did with hers. I can only hope, maybe in the future. The flora and fauna were obviously amazing. 100% they blew it out of the park, as they always do. Well, in my opinion, this is the selling point of every Subnautica game, you know. If they lose sight of this, I think the series will really falter big time as a result. Creating whimsical yet believable flora and fauna that's from an alien planet just goes hand in hand with Subnautica. Some of my favorites from Below Zero were the vent gardens, shadow leviathans, sea monkeys, obviously, lily paddlers, spinnerfish, eye jelly, the grand cotton anemone, and the thermal lilies. Here's just a little side tangent or a little side thing that I think is important and something that I hope they keep consistent with the franchise and with the series. On top of the good, I would also like to highlight additions that this game made that should be continued throughout the Subnautica series. This is what they should keep doing, or doing something similar, right? They should keep adding the headlamp, keep doing the same thing with the sea monkey nest, right? Something similar, a easily visual way to see a potential blueprint that you can scan, whatever it is. If it's on a plant, I don't know. Just don't go back to Subnautica 1 the way that they did it. I don't think it's going to be useful. The quantum locker is pretty cool, and maybe a quality of life upgrade on the other vehicles if they're placed in the game, or at the very least just doing the same thing they did with the prawn suit to other vehicles. Like the prawn suit quality of life was just so big and it was so useful and just welcome that I'm glad it happened, and I hope they continue that trend. If you love Subnautica like I do, then you will enjoy Below Zero. It still hits many of the same notes that made Subnautica so enjoyable, although not as many as you would expect. The bad. Honestly, man, the majority of the land-based gameplay just wasn't interested in it. I wasn't interested in the cold mechanics and traversing this large glacial tundra, especially at night when I couldn't really see anything, you know? When I think of Subnautica, I think ocean, not jogging around some giant glacier in the middle of the night. The Snow Fox was just a buggy mess. I learned about the Snow Fox, gathered all resources for the Snow Fox helipad and the Snow Fox itself, went back to base to build it all. Finally, I went back to the Arctic Spires. I'm excited, I'm ready, I'm like, hell yeah, I got a new vehicle, let's test it out, right? Right when I use the Snow Fox, it has a little animation where you push the Snow Fox out into the world, right? I pushed it out into the world, and I kid you not, the thing just glitches through the ground. And throughout my travels through the Arctic Spire and the Glacial Bay and everything, this happened 3 more times. And I had to go back, right? I could have cheated, okay? I could have used console commands. I could have been like, fuck this. I'm just going to cheat in a Snow Fox. Like, the game's literally robbing me. But for some reason, I just like, dude, I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to taint my gameplay. I don't know if you guys like feel the same, but I don't want to taint my gameplay by cheating. Let me just remake it. So I gather all the resources again and I remake it. And then it happens again and I remake it. It happens again. I'm just like, at one point, I just gave up. And I literally stopped playing the game for a month as a result. The controls for the Snow Fox were so strange, so clunky and weird. And at all stages of my land-based gameplay, you know, traveling around, discovering the Arctic Spires and the Glacial Bay, I was always scared of unpacking my Snow Fox again. I would never know if the Snow Fox would just glitch to the floor and I would have to do the whole process of making it all over again. It's like I got PTSD from the game glitching out, you know? The giant glacier was extremely confusing to traverse, but this might be my own skill issue. The Arctic Spires and Glacial Bay were extremely confusing for me to navigate. I often got lost to the point where I just looked up where the key pieces were and went there directly instead of circling around the island another 10 times. Listen, man, for me, the reason why Subnautica Below Zero doesn't live up to Subnautica is because of the heavy reliance on land-based gameplay. If they focus more on the ocean-related stuff and less on land, I guarantee this game would be better and have a better outlook from many of the players. But with that being said, I do respect them for branching out and trying something new. I find that part to be refreshing, even if it didn't work so well. At least they tried, you know what I mean? Undecided. This section is mostly like me unsure. I'm not sure where to put this. I'm not sure how to feel about these things, hence undecided, right? So the first thing is the sea truck. Throughout my whole playthrough, I wrestled with the fact that we don't have the Cyclops anymore. I love the Cyclops. It was such a cool and giant ship, and essentially your moving base, right? The sea truck is their evolution of that, but I am unsure if it's an actual evolution or a devolution. The modules that the sea truck supports are pretty fucking cool, man. Being able to customize it however you want and put whatever modules you need is great. My setup was the fabricator, storage, teleporter, and docking module. But I still can't shake off the fact that the Cyclops was just so cool and I just loved it. I am all for having more customization, but I just want my Cyclops back. Having a protagonist that talks. A character with a backstory and a purpose for coming to Planet 4546b is good, right? Well, I don't know. For me personally, unless the character has a genuinely compelling story that could be told, having a faceless, mute protagonist like Subnautica is much more fun. Especially for a survival game, I like being able to transport myself into the world and experiencing it like I'm really there. Having a character just makes it feel a little less immersive and a little more divisive. It was an alright choice and obviously necessary for the interactions between Alan and Margaret and everything else to happen, but I'm still unsure about it, honestly. Conclusion. Subnautica Below Zero is a good game. If you love Subnautica, you will like Below Zero. There will be moments when you love the game and think, man, just give me more of this. Then those moments will swiftly end and you'll be met with ham-fisted mechanics that don't really fit into the game you know and love. Ultimately, I respect Unknown Worlds Entertainment for trying something different with their game. Even if it doesn't land properly, they at least have the guts to innovate or die trying. So yeah, anyway, that's my thoughts on the game. That's my thoughts on everything. Man, Subnautica Below Zero, it's fucking cool, bro. It's cool. If you like Subnautica, play it. Just play it. Why not? It's on sale often. Get it, play it. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. And I make videos every Tuesday, so come on back on Tuesday if you want. I don't know what the fuck my next video is, but we'll see what happens. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a good one.